One of the things I see registered dietitians and CNSs struggling with before they start a new endeavor, like an insurance-based practice, is the fear that they're going to fuck it up. And today I wanted to talk about my recent experience in 2025 with starting a new credentialing agency for insurance for dietitians and CNSs. The intention of this video is to illustrate the fact that most of us dietitians are type A. And many of us will not start stuff because we are perfectionists and we are afraid of messing up. But the message today is an important one, is it's okay for something to feel hard and to feel overwhelmed, but you need to do it anyway. Because on the other side of hard is usually something pretty fucking amazing. So, yes, it is hard and it feels heavy to start something new. But what I'm here to tell you is it only feels that way because you've never done it before. So, today I wanted to talk about three separate lessons that I learned in 2025 starting a credentialing agency. And the goal, once again, is to illustrate even 20 years after my first insurance claim, I still struggled just like everybody else. But I wanted to give you guys some tools and tactics for what to do when you do struggle. So, thing I learned in number one, and it's not shocking, but it relates very much to you and your beginning of your journey, is shit will go wrong no matter how hard and how long you plan, right? People thought I was a little bit crazy in 2025 for starting this agency. And I had a pretty big why that I wanted to help dietitians who, for whatever reason, needed support getting the ball going in the right direction, which is credentialing and contracting, right? And so people told me I was crazy. People told me I was not charging enough. People told me that the return on my investment would be super low because this is labor intensive. And to be honest with you, there is truth in many of those. But the reality is that I was not prepared mentally for the amount of mistakes myself, my team, and just nuances that we would run into as a new credentialing agency. However, I knew that we were going to make mistakes. I just did not realize the magnitude of them. But the lesson I learned here was be afraid and do it anyway. So we started this in April. And I thought I would launch it actually in 2026 because like even thinking in April of 2020, I'm like, oh, I'm going to continue refining. I'm going to do all the systems. But no matter how many systems we had in place, we still made mistakes, right? And that is going to be the same for you as well when you start billing insurance, right? No matter how much you've practiced, no matter how many videos of mine you've watched, you're still going to fuck shit up. And that is okay. Because when you mess stuff up, like we did, it is the best data for getting better. One of the things I am working on very hard now for the agency is putting together better systems to make sure as many of the mistakes that we made in 2025 we can prevent, right? We're still going to make mistakes, right? But we're still going to we're always going to do our best. But when you make mistakes, those are opportunities to get better. So if you're in this beginning stage, two things I want you to remember. It only feels hard because it's new and it's uncertain. And then I want to follow it up by there's 100% chance that for those probably first 3 to 5 months, you're going to make more mistakes than you probably ever in your life. My words of wisdom are let's learn from those mistakes. Let's put in together better systems, which a lot of times is just education, and let's move forward, right? We're not going to let those small mistakes, the ones that feel heavy in the moment, let me tell you, I have definitely lost some sleep over these mistakes, but I cannot allow them to taint the impact that I can make with these services. The same thing for you guys, right? So, so let's like normalize making mistakes and let's normalize persistence and doing the things anyway, right? The second piece, and this is something you guys probably learn very quickly, but for some reason, I did not actually understand the magnitude of how nuanced every single insurance was in each state. Some insurance companies are a physical application where you send them certified mail. Some applications are done in Availity. Some applications are done through a portal that you need to set up an account with before you can even access the application. And lastly, the best ones, some are done on the phone. Some insurance companies require you to be contracted with Medicaid or Medicare before you even start the journey. Some of them require ACP 575. Some of them require your CDR card plus your license if you're in a licensure state. And so for me, I realized just how nuanced insurance was. And those were things that really set us back. Okay. Because, and I think it was frustrating, and it probably will be frustrating for you as well, is that you can think that you're doing all of the things right and do your very best. And all of a sudden, 2 to 3 months later, you get an email from the insurance company that you didn't send them X, Y, and Z when they asked for it, and they canceled your whole application. So the nuances for insurance are real. I feel like after about 8 months of doing this, I think we've nailed all of them. So I feel pretty confident that we have made the mistake so you guys don't have to. But if no matter, even if you're just doing it in your single state, if you feel like the rules are different for every single insurance, you feel your gut is right. Your instinct is right. They are, right? I do not think there is a single state where the application and contracting process is the same, nor is the process that follows it for setting up EFTs and ERAs. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and you feel like you're a little bit crazy, I just want to rationalize today that is normal, right? And that fear will pass, right? What I also learned is that like when as we make these mistakes, right, we can generally correct them. So that's what I want you to remind you guys of today is that no matter how much you fuck up your applications, no matter how many things you forget, you can always fix them. And will it take time? Yes, it probably will take a decent amount of time if you do not get it correct on the first end. But do not give up. There is not a single application. We have done hundreds at this point that we have given up on, right? We do not give up. We just keep on going and we ask the question rather than get mad or frustrated. We ask the question, what needs to be done next to push this forward, right? I see a lot of dietitians get really caught up in their mistakes. I see them spend a lot of time in their heads and in their hearts, kind of beating themselves up. But what I can tell you as somebody who runs 3 businesses, we ain't got time for that shit, right? We got to keep the ball moving. We got to be thinking present and forward and not let those mistakes, or those time frames derail us from our big goal, which is building an empire, right? Empires are not built overnight, right? And so these are nominal mistakes that are expected and will really kind of change the game down the road for you. And the third piece is I did not really realize who or what would be needing our support for credentialing services. But I originally started the credentialing services for single dietitians who just needed help getting momentum, right? The main reason I started the credentialing services, I needed to get you guys to pass go. And some of you guys will not pass go and do it unless I do it for you. And so, number one, I needed to accept in my mind and my heart that I was willing to do that because for so many years, I wanted to teach you guys how to fish, but I also realized that some of you guys weren't even going to make it to the pond unless I picked you up, which is cool. Okay, so me getting over that was big. Some of the unlock moments for me has really been supporting dietitians in group practices because what I really realized with them, although that wasn't who my service was intended for, It was really neat to watch them take the time, effort, mental magnitude that it takes to credential a dietitian. And instead of them, doing it and assuming that responsibility by passing it off to us, it was really neat to see what these dietitians could do with the time that they got back. And so the moral of that story is sometimes in life, although there's things that we should learn, sometimes it's best to hand them off to people who can do them better, always knowing that our time is generally spent doing the things that bring money to the practice. Okay. Yes, we need to be credentialed to bill insurance to make money for our practices, but sometimes it's best to outsource because then you can really focus on the things that are client facing and money making, whether it be marketing, whether it be, getting better counseling skills so you can retain your clients, billing for the current patients you have, sourcing talent. A lot of times those things take so much mental capacity that it is hard to do those at 100% if you are trying to do the credentialing and contracting for yourself. So I really learned that we were really helping a population that I had not intended, but I was okay with doing. And it really made me realize, even as a business owner, how there's certain things I'm really good at, and there's certain things that I make a lot of money doing. And so it's often better for me to put my time and effort towards those than it is towards things that are not revenue generating. So I know that's a hard thing to learn in the beginning, but while I am not a massive fan of outsourcing, I just think there's certain things as owners, operators, CEOs that we are better at, and more importantly, bring in money. Okay, so 2025 was a hard year for me. There's just a lot of learning. There was a lot of mistakes, which were anticipated. But I think what I'm most proud of, and I want you guys to really reflect on this, is that in spite of all of the shit that happened, I kept going, right? And I think that that is ultimately what allows us to step into our success is, making a shit ton of mistakes and just not giving up. Because it's generally on the 100th mistake, right, that there is an unlock. And that what I want you to take is that it is okay to make mistakes, but the goal is that we learn from those and we take that data to put better systems in place. And so I am no different than you. We are cut from the same cloth. The reality is that over the last 20 years, I just never gave up. And I don't want you to give up because I know that it feels hard. I know that it feels heavy. I know your head hurts just thinking about insurance, the same way my head hurts when I'm thinking about scaling my business because I know that shit is really hard. But what I wanted to leave you guys with is that on the other side of really hard shit is generally a massive impact for both you and your clients. So if you're in a hard season, I am there with you, but I am forward thinking and knowing that all of the shit that happened in 2025 for both you and me is going to make us better in 2026. So cheers to us. Cheers to us doing it when it feels hard and heavy and following shit to the end so we can say we are proud.